Basically in '85, we were feeder cattle. Our crop acres weren't quite as what they are today. We're still feeding pigs, not as many as what we are right now, and just a little bit different program compared to what we have right now. And the kids weren't involved either. They were just basically being born at that time. So this was quite a while ago. And it was pretty much so myself, and then my dad was helping me at that time also. So Dad helped me get started, and that's how I got my start. Today, Lucas, my son, he sort of has most of the cattle on the operation right now. He has 120 cows, and they're all basically here on corn stalks, and then in the wintertime we calve them out here. He calves out a percentage of them over at his place too. But we have cows now where we didn't have cows when I was getting started. We also have some feeder cattle. We do that, but we also have more hogs. We have capacity for about 4,000 hogs now, so that's probably been the big change, is the number of hogs that we're running, and the way we're taking care of those animals is a little bit different than what we did back then.
We farm together. I kind of take care of the cattle end of the operation, and I started that probably my sophomore year in high school, just with 10 steers that I ran on a pasture, actually with my uncle and grandpa. Parents were a very big part of what me and my brothers do. We were always able to be out on the farm helping Dad, with whatever he was doing. It seemed like we were always right out there with him, and that helped grow our interest in agriculture. And so we each kind of took our own part of the business and kind of specialized in that, whether like I said, I kind of run the cattle. Michael, he helps a lot with the hogs. And Kyle, he got involved in a lagoon pumping business. So we each have kind of our own niche, but we all still work together.
I was involved with Nebraska pork producers as the ladies' pork council women chairman, and volunteer otherwise at St. John's School in the library and the bookmobile, and I volunteer at the hospital. I just got my 25-year pin this last year. I enjoy the children at school. I've been doing that for many years, had my grandchildren, so it's been probably 30 years. I enjoy that. I read to the first, second, third, and fourth grade and check the books in and out for the rest of the school.
As we kind of moved to seed and feed from the farm here over to the feed store on the monastery, it's just kind of amazing how things grow. And I guess in business, when they say location, 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 I'm a firm believer of that, because when we moved to the feed store on the monastery, it just seems like more people driving by, more people see the name, so more people stop, and the business has grown, and we really appreciate being part of the community in that way, and feels like you're giving a service back to the community,
As agriculture has consolidated, just from a numbers standpoint, I think most people have more numbers today than they did 10 years ago. With that comes additional work, I guess, that's involved, but I think we've increased our number of employees here, but I think the biggest reason one of the biggest ways ag has changed, a lot of biotechnology is a big word, but just through genetic selection in our crops and our livestock, our average daily gains, our efficiencies have got better just through natural selection on those productivity traits that increase the production that we can produce. I mean, it goes without saying, but I think a lot of people don't think that these cattle don't take holidays or weekends. So with that, you're kind of all in, and I think the kids have seen that not that the livestock come first, but we do take care of them, and sometimes, we open our presents after the livestock are taken care of on Christmas morning and those kind of things. So I think just with that, they've seen the work ethic. It's also given us a lot of opportunity to work together. The kids are over here a lot on horseback riding pens and helping us process cattle, just helping us when we plant crops and harvest. It's kind of a whole family effort.
Growing up on a ranch, I understood the necessity of preventative medicine, and I can't stress that enough. Just vaccination programs and how much they have developed, and we still have a long way to go. Just going to veterinary meetings every year and just listening to people talk. We have conquered lots of diseases, and there's lots of things that we still need to do. I feel like animal husbandry, though, is something that really isn't taught. I think it's something that you naturally have as a gift, and so it's been lots of fun to be able to have employees come and help us out who really can spot a sick calf when they're not raising their hand saying they've got a fever. And we've been extremely blessed with the people that we've gotten to work with who understand livestock and are quiet with them, and just even the ranchers that we buy cattle from, the genetics have changed tremendously. We can get 1,400 pounds at 14 months old average for most of our calves here at the yard, and that's been a lot of fun to watch those genetics just increase in their performance. I love to work outside, so on a day like today when it's bitter cold and my hands hurt terrible, it's kind of like, oh, really? You like to work outside? Yes, I really think riding horses and being with the steers is therapy for me.
Well, my son, after he graduated from college, we came back and we fed cattle. I always had fed some cattle, but we've continued to enlarge the size of the feedlot. I think we're DQ'd now for 4,200 head, and we feed a couple other places. Well, of course, change is inevitable, and although we sometimes wonder about it, it's going to keep coming. So we started out counting scoops as we fed cattle. And it's evolved to the technology now, electronic technology, that the feed truck records every pound that's fed to each individual pen, and for the lifetime of that pen. A big change. And it'll keep continuing to change, I suppose.
I think some of the big changes that have happened since last receiving the award is that, obviously with an instructor change and dedication to our program, we've expanded a lot. We've added an additional department into the precision ag side. With our M-PACE grant, we've also changed from being ag business to agricultural sciences and brought on more dedicated classes into the animal production side, as well as then into plant science and offering students more diverse education. Some of the additional things that we've added in have been also a greenhouse so we can have more hands-on learning, as well as we've added more technology. In conjunction with our precision ag department, we're able to show better water utilization, better planting techniques year-round. Those types of things have been added, as well as we continually try to make more diverse applications within the livestock field to show all the changes that are happening with becoming more efficient, more production, all the way through. So we're trying to do a better job completely with our entire program. We've relocated 3 times within the building since I've been here in the last 5 years, and that's to accommodate students' needs and wants and our growing student population. The big thing that's happened within ag is that we've had a huge, amount of people interested in ag. They've become agri-curious. Our society as a whole wants to know more about where their food comes from. And some of that has brought people in who normally wouldn't be involved in agriculture. I have a very diverse student population base. We have students who have an extensive ag background. The students have never, ever been in a tractor, seen a live animal or anything, and they're interested in ag because they see that there's future. There's a possible job somewhere. No matter what changes, we all still need to eat. We all still need clothes to wear, and we still have a manufacturing side that needs to take place, all because of the byproducts of agriculture. So no matter what, agriculture has a bright future in careers.
If you think about what has gone on in the last 50 years, and so that would take me to about the time that I would have been in 8th or 9th grade, unloading our first Lindsay Zimatic pivot halfway between Tarniff and Humphrey on a farm. And so when I was a kid living west of Platte Center, the further west you got from Highway 81, it rained less, and there was no irrigation. And so if you were in certain areas that had a little better soil, depending upon the soil types, when you didn't have rain, it was a challenge. We had a lot of challenging years, And so the thing that's incredible when you think of the evolution of agriculture and you think of the impact of this county, and that center pivots were developed from an embryonic thought process right here in Platte County by the Zimmer family, and then blossomed and bloomed from there, and still have a huge market share with lots of pivots made in Lindsay, Nebraska. You know, that's incredibly impactful. Incredibly impactful what it's not only done for Platte County and for the community of Columbus and all of our region, but for the planet, because to feed the world and that my grandbabies are going to take on, being able to utilize water much more efficiently than running it down a row to raise more is incredible, and it all came from here. And that's really cool when you stand back and think of a 50-year time frame. And then I'd take it a step further, thinking back of when my dad would always tell the stories, and my grandpa my grandpa was a World War I veteran, and so he lived through the time frame of going from horses to tractors. And so, you know, that seems like that's in a lot of our lifetime, and the evolution of industry and machinery, and now the technology of driving tractors without people in them, of just how it's changed to create value and feed people. You know, to survive in agriculture, we have to have the best and the brightest people. So it's a great opportunity for the future of the future generations.
I started when I got out of college with a degree in business in 1971. My father had quit milking when I was about 5 years old, and for some reason I thought I wanted to be a dairy farmer, so I started a dairy milking 40 cows. There's a lot fewer of us. We have fewer places to sell milk, and we deal with retailers like Walmart, Hy-Vee. It's a little bit different game. It's not as much fun, let's say, as it was 1971. Become a lot more technical, which is good. We accept, you know, modern technology is very useful. You have to pick and choose what you're going to use, but we farm about 2,300 acres. When I started farming, we farmed probably 500 acres. There was a lot of people that milk cows around here. 40 cows was a pretty good herd. That was what I started with, was 40. And, you know, now we're milking 1,500, 1,600. And I don't feel that we're large. Well, I'd like to thank the Columbus Area Chamber of Commerce for doing what they do. And, you know, we're truly blessed to have those kind of people in our community, and it's been a pleasure having that award. It's nice being a part of the community.